Well, hello everyone, and welcome in to my first episode of the Crossroads League Men's Basketball 2024/2025 season. And I personally think the men's side of the Crossroads League is the most competitive. But of course, I mentioned yesterday in my women's video that the women's side is competitive, and the men's side I think is even more competitive than the women. So I will be going over the standings here, the current men's basketball Crossroads League standings with you today, and I hope you will enjoy this video. So without further ado, let's dive in. The team sitting currently first, number 10 in the country, the Bethel Pilots, are currently sitting in first place, 6-0 in the Crossroads League, and a perfect 8-0 at home. And sitting in second place right now is the Spring Arbor University Cougars, that are 5-1 in the Crossroads League, tied with the Grace College Lancers. Spring Arbor, though, holding the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Lancers, with the Cougars' upset win over the Lancers back in December. And of course, I mentioned the Grace College Lancers 13-3 on the year overall. They are also 5-0 in the Crossroads League. Currently sitting in fourth place, the University of St. Francis out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. The St. Francis Cougars, they are 4-2 in the Crossroads League. It's a little bit surprising to see them toward the top of the standings. Their only losses in the Crossroads League were to Bethel back in November, and then a big 98-73 loss by St. Francis against Mount Vernon Nazarene in Fort Wayne on Wednesday night. Currently sitting in fifth place, the Taylor University Trojans, 3-3 in the Crossroads League. The Trojans picked up a monumental upset win over the number 22 Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats on Wednesday night, 79-76. The Trojans are 3-3, as I mentioned, in the Crossroads League. They will be hosting Goshen at home tomorrow. And in sixth place in the Crossroads League, the Huntington University Foresters, head coach Corey Alford and his team, 12-4 overall, 2-4 in the Crossroads League, so all four of their losses coming in league play. Huntington started out the year beating then number 3 Indiana Wesleyan at home, then lost to Bethel at home 96-90. And since then, the Foresters beat Mount Vernon Nazarene at home last month, 82-71, and then lost the first two games of conference here in the month of January. Lost last Saturday at Marion, and that was only a 2-point loss for the Foresters. They had a chance to win the game at the buzzer, but unfortunately the 3-point shot just did not go down for them. And then the Foresters lost to number 16 Grace Wednesday night, 70-66. So the Foresters, they travel to Receiving Vote Spring Arbor coming up tomorrow. So that is going to be a very, very important game for both teams as they move forward with 12 games remaining going into tomorrow in the regular season. And then sitting in seventh place, Mount Vernon Nazarene tied with Huntington at 2-4 in the league standings. Of course, Huntington holding the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Cougars since the Foresters beat Mount Vernon Nazarene at home last month. Mount Vernon Nazarene has 2 conference wins on their tally this year at home against Goshen back in December. Mount Vernon Nazarene won that game 91-69, and then picked up the big win at St. Francis 98-73 on Wednesday night behind graduate student Bailey Conrad's 30-point performance. And in eighth place is the Marion University Knights, 8-8 overall. They are 2-4 in the Crossroads League. They picked up a big win last Saturday at home against the Huntington University Foresters, and then Marion lost at Bethel on Wednesday night, 70-57. Goshen College Maple Leafs are in 10th place in the Crossroads League. They are 0-6 in league play. They will be traveling to Taylor coming up tomorrow, and the Marion Knights will be hosting St. Francis coming up tomorrow as well. And the Maple Leafs, they've won 5 games this year. Their most wins that they've had probably in the last 3 to 4 years combined. but the Maple Leafs still trying to pick up their first conference win. Maybe they'll be able to pull that off tomorrow against Baylor University Trojans. We will definitely wait and find out. And sitting in ninth place, and the biggest shock of all, is the Indiana Wesleyan University Wildcats. They lost their starting point guard Luke Brown due to injury, and Indiana Wesleyan is really, really struggling this year. They are 6-1 at home. Their only home loss coming to Grace back in November, but 3-4 on the road. So the Wildcats are going to have to figure out the road struggles, and they are at Mount Vernon Nazarene coming up tomorrow. The Wildcats are 1-5 in the Crossroads League, 11-5 overall. So they are riding a 125 streak in the top 25 in the NAIA National Coaches Poll. That, of course, is on the line now, especially going into the fresh poll coming up on Wednesday morning. So it's going to be very interesting to see where IWU will land after that. And of course, for the Wildcats, they and really their offense has been really, really good this year. I mean, they have not played bad offense. They're scoring points, and their offense has been really, really good all season long. But the one thing that I'm noticing is they are really, really struggling on the defensive end. And if they can get back to the kind of good defense that they played the first 4 games of conference, they got an extremely, extremely good chance of, I don't know about running the last 12 games in conference, but they do have a really, really good chance of at least getting maybe to 10 wins in conference play, maybe even 11. But obviously for head coach Greg Tonigal, you want to get better, and you want to at least get up into the top 5 seeding. And that's what's so interesting about the men's side this year is the current teams that are seeded 4th through 9th are only separated by 3 games. So so many teams can move one way or the other in the upcoming weeks and month ahead remaining in the regular season. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see where all of that plays out. And I know head coach Greg Tonigal will figure things out, and I have no doubt they'll be a lot better next year. And my personal opinion, my personal opinion is, not trying to be biased or anything, but I really, really think that Indiana Wesleyan has a really, really good chance of finishing at least 3rd next year, especially getting redshirt sophomore this year, Rocco Muratori from NCAA Division I, Stony Brook, and he's 7'3", and 7'3" is extremely, extremely difficult to guard. And Indiana Wesleyan has not had a player that tall since they had Seth Maxwell a few years ago. And remember, when Seth Maxwell played for Indiana Wesleyan was finished no worse than 3rd all of the years that Seth was a part of the Wildcat team. So if that's any indication of next season for Indiana Wesleyan, maybe it is, we don't know, but I am definitely excited to see where all of that plays out. And of course, I hope to eventually record a podcast. I really enjoy talking sports with you, and I hope that you are enjoying all of the content that I'm providing. I did my very first video yesterday talking about the women's side of things. Today, the first time talking about the men's side. I will be doing these videos on a weekly basis, so make sure to subscribe to my channel so you are the first to be notified when I upload new videos. And I plan on uploading videos coming up next Friday, recapping tomorrow's games, as well as next Wednesday night's games, and also recapping the latest top 25 national polls on the men's and women's side coming up next week as well. So I really, really hope you will be able to tune in for that. So we will have a lot of content to dive into coming up later next week, and I'm really, really excited about that. And I'm excited about doing these videos on a weekly basis as we get deeper and deeper into the latter part of this basketball season. 12 games remaining in the regular season. It's hard to believe. And of course, next year I definitely will be doing these videos as well. And even over once we get into the late summer into early fall, I plan on doing videos recapping soccer, men's and women's soccer, as well as women's volleyball. And here coming up in the spring, I plan on doing weekly recap videos about baseball and softball. So make sure you subscribe to my channel if you would be interested in that. Of course, feel free to leave me a comment. I appreciate any feedback that you provide me. And so feel free to leave a comment, feel free to like this video, or feel free to subscribe to my channel, or maybe do all three. Maybe like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you would be interested and would love to see additional content moving forward with the spring sports coming up, with softball and baseball, and then of course coming up in early fall of this year with volleyball and soccer as well. Thanks so much for watching this video, and have a great rest of your weekend. God bless.